What's going on, everybody? I'm Connor. I'm here at Man Sports. I'm going to take you through my leg day today. I'm going to teach you the tips and tricks on how to really get the best out of your workout. First up is got the seated hamstring curl. I like to start the workout like this just because it's going to easily warm up your whole knee area without putting too much pressure on the front of your knee, because that's where a lot of knee issues come from, tendonitis, things like that. And then, loading weights on the front of your knee when you first start the workout versus towards the middle or towards the end, it's a lot more conducive to a healthy workout. So we do this to warm up the back half of your leg here, your hamstring, which also is connected to your knee, helps warm up the glutes, helps everything on the front end as well, because the blood comes to the area and warms up the whole thing rather than just that one spot. That way, when we go to the next exercise with the leg extension, we can go into it more comfortably and not have to worry about your knee hurting the entire time. The way we're set up in here, my butt is back, it's on flat to the back of the pad here. You see how my toes are not limp. I have them pulled up, big toe towards my shin. That way my hamstrings are all taut, my calves are engaged as well. And when I pull, I can hold the rep and control it, because what we don't want are sloppy reps, right? Because that way you may use other muscles that will help, but you're not actually getting the most advantageous usage of the machine because you're just screwing around too much versus actually controlling the weight, using the hamstrings and getting them to contract as hard as they can rather than just yanking it, which sure it works, but you want it to work better. So you want to hold, squeeze, release, pause, hold, squeeze, release. That way you'll have the best benefit for your rep the entire set rather than just doing a few towards the end when you're tired. This way you can contract as much as you need to and get the most work done in your one set. All right, next up, we got the leg extension. So this will be exclusively targeting your quad, and we're gonna be trying to show you the most effective way to have the whole thing working rather than just the end bits of your knee, so there's not too much pressure like I was talking about earlier. Because if you notice with me, I'm very teardrop dominant versus the outer on my sweep, because when I was younger, I did the same thing. So now I've learned to effectively activate your whole quad rather than just getting the one little bit that shows off the bottom of your shorts. Same thing as the setup with the leg curl. Hips and butt are back. Knees are nice and tight to the inside of the pad. You see how these have these little circles here? That's where your knees are supposed to line up on the machine. A lot of people don't know that, but easy nugget for you guys. So same thing set up. So knees are in line, ankles are here. The pad's not too low towards your toes, but not too high towards your shins. You're gonna be right where your foot and your shin meet. That way, when you do your reps, you're not being forced in one direction or the other. So when you go, you extend, same thing. Toes are pulled towards you, towards your shins, activates everything in here as well, and locks out the majority of your quad, so you don't get just the end bits, you get the entire vastus lateralis, everything. So you come down, same thing, control your rep, and up, squeeze. Control on the way down, don't just let it drop, and up, squeeze. That way, you hit everything you need in here and fires everything correctly. And you're not just wasting reps and bouncing and slinging things and just, like I said, we're not doing this. That's uncontrolled, that's sloppy. You want controlled, perfect reps the entire way through. That way, when your quads are firing, you can work the entire range of motion. You're not just dropping it, you're controlling the eccentric of the motion. Squeeze, and back down. Squeeze, back down. Just like that. All right, so up next we have the leg press. So I like this a lot as the first real exercise, because those two are mainly just warm-ups and not really too strenuous, right? So for here, I'm a big fan because there's a lot of variability you can use with leg press. So, the higher up your feet are, the more the back half of your legs you're getting. The lower your feet are, the more the front leg you're getting, right? So you want to find a happy medium, depending on what your goals are, obviously, but the majority of the population, middle of the pad, feet about shoulder width apart, and depending on, knee pain, ankle flexibility, all these different things. It's a little nitty-gritty details, but relatively speaking, middle of the pad is the way to go. So when we do these, you want to make sure that they're relatively evenly set. That way when you go, your knees aren't flaring out in one direction or the other, and when you go down, you'll see you want to have a straight, consistent line from the top of your leg to the bottom of your leg. Otherwise, too much knee, flip-flopping around will cause issues and maybe lead to an injury, so we don't want that. All right, so like I was saying, you want your feet relatively shoulder width apart. So for me, right here is about perfect. There you go, reach the safeties. You come down, you want to go about as low as you can without your hips coming off the pad, right? So down, down, down. For me, that's about as all as I got, because you can see my legs are actually touching my ribs, and back up. Go down, 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 down. This is as far as I can go. Knees, ankles, hips are all in the same line, and I
press forward nice and controlled. My feet don't leave the pad. You'll see a lot of people will push and they'll let their toes come off for some reason. I don't know why people do that, but it can lead to your knees caving in, and then what I call flamingoing, where they pop backwards and you break your kneecaps, and no one needs that. So, toes flat, heels flat, down, 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 control, small pause, press. Down, 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 control, pause, press. You can do these for about 12 to 15 reps, decently heavy, and also just paying attention to your fatigue and not getting stuck underneath everything.
Alrighty, y'all. So next up we have the squat. So for the squat, it's gonna be very basic, nothing fancy to it. A standard
Parallel foot.
barbell squat. You know, there's a lot of different variations you can do with this, but what we're going to do today is just a very simple, basic 101. So, setting up the barbell, you want to make sure you have the nice height here, because for some people that are height challenged like myself, I'm about 5'10", 5'10 and a half on a good day. And some of these squat racks, sometimes it's a little too high, sometimes a little too low. So for some taller folks and some shorter folks, you want to just kind of sacrifice being exactly perfect with this. I would prefer it, the J cups here, these, to be a little lower, because when you're at the end of a squat set, you don't want to be tired and try and hope for the best and tippy-toe a weight into the rack, because that's how we can miss and get hurt, right? Because nothing be scarier than having a weight in your back and then going and missing, because that'll end in bad ways. So for me, right here is about perfect. Collarbone's about, the bar is about collarbone height. So hands here and here, depending on how good your shoulders are. Mine are a little beat up, so I go a little bit wider. You walk on in, have it nice and set to your back. Stand up, clear the jack, go out. Feet are set right here. Barbell's tight to your back. Shoulders are pinched. Hips are set, nice and loose. As we go down, you're gonna go down, down, down. I like to go just to parallel and then back up. Mainly because if we go down past parallel, that's fine if you can do it, but we're trying to hold constant tension. If we go down too far, you tend to rely on your tendons and other muscles to help you get back out. So what we're going for is just a very consistent squat rep, right? Knees push out, body comes up. As you go down, you want to push your knees out as you go. Keep them aligned with your toes. So down, 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 squat, and press. Same thing as the other things. Small pause at the bottom because you want to control the rep. Down, 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 pause, squat. Then when you're coming back into the rep, you want to pay attention where your hands are, where the bar is going, because if you don't want to run into that, because that also leads to bad things. So take your time, you're not in a rush, and probably just have a spotter in general. But as you're walking in, find the rack, set down, walk out, and that's that. All right, and last but not least, my favorite combo to get a solid leg pump at the end of the workout, we're gonna be doing single leg press, superset with split squats. So how we're gonna do this is you're gonna do the one leg at a time for both exercises, then go back to the other leg and do both sets as well. So first up will be my right leg, single leg press, walk right into the next exercise and hop into a split squat. And now you can do these a couple different ways, but I'm gonna show you how I like to do it.
All right, so for the leg press, for me, I like to start with both feet, unrack it, just so you know, you can kind of get a feel of how the weight feels as well. And then I just move the other foot out of the way. So when you're doing a single leg press, the key to this is distance from here to here, and then how low you want to put your leg, because it kind of depends on your flexibility and also your strength. Because if your feet are too low, your heel's going to come off the pad and you want to adjust because you don't want that coming off. So same thing, hands tight, pull your butt into the pad and go down, down, down. See how my ankle's not coming off? And back up. Nice and controlled, pause, press. Same thing, down, 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 pause, press. And I'm pushing through the ball of my foot, but I'm keeping my heel down because we're going for the quads and almost nothing else. And you'll feel a little bit in the back of your leg just because we've been working out the whole time, and it's going to be a little bit tired, but that's okay. So down, 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 pause, press. And again, pause, press. Then once you're done with that, hop right up, no break, and go right into the next exercise. So with a split squat, it's very important you find the distance that's correct for your leg, because we all have different sized legs, right? So I have a longer femur and my shin bone is not that long because I'm not that tall. So you want to find the right distance to go all the way down
not your heel or your toes wobbling about. So for me, this is about perfect. Right here and down. And like every other rep, we control it. So down, 2, 3, pause, squat. Down, 2, 3, pause, squat. All like that, all in sync. And let's do these back to back, one leg at a time. Right leg, left leg, left leg. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for your leg day. I'm really glad this was able to happen. I would love to teach, and this is a lot of fun. So like you can recall, the main points of this are always going to be control your reps, be careful, set up your feet correctly, really think about what you're going to do. The execution is going to matter, and also just have fun with it, because there's no real rules when it comes to working out. There's guidelines, because everything's a little different for everybody, but you can kind of have fun doing pick and playing and kind of seeing what works best for you. But following these general guidelines are going to do a great job for you and help you get the best benefit out of your leg workout. Hope you all have fun.